All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Unlocking Greatness session. I am super pumped to be here today. We're going to be talking about harnessing our strengths and embracing our weaknesses for professional success. I mean, this is something that is a predominant theme in my coaching. Whether that's in my one-to-one coaching or in group coaching, in this coaching community, a lot of the discussions that I'm having are around this idea of how do I harness my strengths? How do I deal with my weaknesses? I'm actually going to talk about embracing weaknesses because that, to me, is far more beneficial. I think that's a far better approach to this, but you got to be really intentionally focused on it. So we're going to be talking about, again, both of the ideas of strengths, weaknesses, a couple of other things that I want to help you work through. So one of those that people kind of get into when I start talking about strengths and weaknesses is how do I figure out what my strengths and weaknesses are? So I'm going to talk about some ways that we can do this self-reflectively, working with other people, but then also some resources that are out there. And I'm even going to walk you through one pretty practically. So if you are here, if you've got a question, you want to dump it into the chat, feel free to do that. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this in a recorded method, you can go ahead and shoot an email to ryan@ryanjamesmiller.com. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that I can for you to help you develop your strengths and embrace your weaknesses, ultimately to help you move down this path to success. So let's dig right in. Let's talk about the value first of my strengths. So it's kind of obvious, right? When we think about our strengths, we think about, well, I want to tap into the things that I'm best at. I want to tap into the things that I am good at. And so in one sense, it's really obvious that we should leverage our strengths for our success. The reality of the matter is, though, is oftentimes we don't completely know what those are. But before I get there, I want to give you a couple of examples of some ways in which you can leverage strengths into a professional context, even a personal context. So if you find that you regularly are looked at as somebody to look up to inspire, to guide, if people are regularly coming to you for advice, maybe they see you as somebody that has a wisdom or that has worked through and lived out many different experiences, there is a good chance that you could be a great leader in the contexts that you're in. Another one is maybe you speak well. You're a good communicator. You like to relate to people. You like to engage with people. And I would say that you may be good in sales. Maybe you're a great listener. Maybe you are super smart. Maybe you're really technical. There's so many different ways that our natural strengths, the abilities that have been given to us by God, can be applied to professional roles out in the marketplace. And so again, oftentimes people are like, well, do I have the gift of leadership? Am I strong in leadership? Well, there's really no leadership strength. It's all of these different strengths that influence our ability to lead well. So again, we need to understand that the strength isn't always obvious as it relates to how it works out in the context, but by way of understanding what our strengths are, we can start to recognize how we can apply those to the environments that we're in, to the roles that we're in. So I would say that, first of all, as it comes to strengths, just very practically, is figure out how to leverage your strengths every single day. I think this is one of the greatest mistakes that people make when they are trying to craft their professional journey. As they get into employment in a job, Maybe they start to choose a career and they're trying to figure themselves out and figure out what to do. And oftentimes the decision is, okay, well, where can I go to make a lot of money and do something that I really like or love? And those aren't bad things. I think that we should seek to make as much money as we possibly can. I think that we should strive to do things professionally that we enjoy, that we feel fulfilled by. But we also want to make sure that we're actually good at it, that we have strengths that can be applied to the roles that we are in. Now, that doesn't mean you can't develop them over time, that you can't grow in them over time. But again, we want to make sure that as we're seeking opportunities, that we're aligning them with the strengths that we already possess. On top of that, our goal in life, one of our goals in life at least, is to succeed. And success is just achieving the purpose that we set out to achieve, reaching the end of a goal or a desire that we have. And so it's that achievement. It's not necessarily monetary. It's just achieving. Well, if you want to set yourself up for the best possible chance to succeed, ensure that you're applying your strengths towards that success. It's so interesting to me how people get this so backwards. They're trying to figure out how to become successful, to achieve status, income, whatever that may be. And they just chase things like the wind. They look out to see what everybody else in the world is doing. They look to see what their friends are doing. They're like, oh, I should probably do that because that guy made a lot of money. That guy made a lot of money. So I should do that too. And I'm like, no, leverage your strengths. If you find that you're regularly being affirmed for something that you're good at, my encouragement to you would be to figure out how to do more of it. And if you're being affirmed by people, ask them. Like, just say, hey, you consistently seem to think that I'm good at this, or that I'm super helpful in this way, or I offer a lot of value in this capacity. Where do you think I could do some more of that? Just gain feedback from other people. Instead of always trying to figure it out yourself, see what the rest of the world is saying about you, and as big as the whole world, or maybe just the small little world that you live in. So strengths are incredibly important. I'm going to come back to some ways that we can identify those things in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to talk kind of at a high level about our strengths, leveraging those things, and how to apply them to our life. Okay, the other side of this coin is our weaknesses. So over the years, I've actually had some shifts in what I think about weaknesses. I've had some shifts in how I think we should deal with our weaknesses. I just realized, by the way, midway through this, that I had the wrong microphone on. So thankfully, I think people can hear me. At the same time, it's probably not been as clear as it could have been. Anyway, all that to say. So this is going to be right in the middle of a recorded video. But anyway, when it comes to weaknesses, I do not believe that they are something that should be avoided. I think that too often we try to run from them or avoid them altogether for fear of failure or judgment or whatever, something else along those lines. So I want to say, first of all, we have to all be able to admit that we have weaknesses. So I'll give you an example. I was just on the phone right before I hopped onto this to share this with a client of mine, and she's incredibly successful. She's made really good money. She has built a business for herself, sold a business. I mean, she's just super successful. I've been really fortunate to work with her for the last 2 years. She knows that she's really good at selling. So when she has started a business as the business owner, she's really good about building the relationships, about understanding pain, presenting products and services, solutions, and ultimately producing outcomes that her clients want. She is not good, fringes on terrible at operational efficiency, structure, hiring, and holding her team accountable. Like bad. And she admits it. And so one of the discussions we had today is if you want to progress forward it's time that you start giving over those responsibilities to somebody else. Owning your strengths, but also identifying your weaknesses and then figuring out what to do with them. And she doesn't have the time to fix them because she can apply all of herself to her strengths. And so she has to figure out how to deal with her weaknesses, which means she needs to bring somebody else onto the team that can support her weaknesses, that is strong in the areas that she is weak in. So, but she had to know that. And so part of that is her own self-awareness. Others is over the last 2 years, she and I have worked on that together to understand where she's weak, why she's weak in those things. We've tried to improve some areas that we could, but ultimately there's other things that we just can't fix. And so we need to figure out how to deal with in other ways. Same goes for you. You suck at some things. You are not good at some things. You are an epic failure in certain areas. And you may not be able to fix them. You may not be able to grow enough from them. But you need to know what those things are. Don't run from them. Be willing to admit that you are weak. One of the things that I am personally weak in, since I outed a client, I'll out myself. I am not great at administrative tasks. I've hired somebody else, thank God, to be able to support me in that professionally. I am just not good at those types of tasks. I really struggle to stay up on them. I mean, I have a very structured calendar that I follow. I have a task management system. We have a CRM, a customer relationship manager, a management tool. So I use all those things and those help me, but ultimately I still am not great at those tasks, which means I need support. I need more support in those areas. And so I have to shore them up, but I'm just not good at them, right? For a long time, I was not good at following. I had for so much of my life been told that I was a leader. I was a team captain. I was smart. I was, whatever. And that's great. The problem, though, was I was not good at following. There was pride involved in that, but there was also just this inability. I did not understand how to follow. And so when I became a pastor of a church, I was second in command, I guess you can say. We had equal authority and equal responsibility, but we still had a hierarchy for certain things. And when I first stepped into that role, I did not know how to fulfill that role. I thought I did, but every time I needed to do something as a follower, I sucked. And so I had to learn. I studied, I read, I grew, and I think I've become a lot better at that. Still not great, but a lot better at following than I was before. So you need to understand and identify these areas of weakness, and you need to figure out how to address them. You don't have to criticize yourself. You don't have to condemn yourself. You just have to say that, hey, I have these challenges. I have these areas of weakness, and I need to figure out how to deal with them. Do I learn from them, grow through them, make them better, make them no longer weaknesses, or do I figure out how to delegate those things to somebody else so I no longer have to live in the condemnation of my own weakness? Okay, so what I want to do with the remaining time, there's not a whole lot of time left here today for this, but actually what I wanted to do is I want to walk you through a tool that I think is beneficial to you. So in our coaching program and our coaching tools, we have this available to everybody that participates. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can reach out to me directly. Again, ryan@ryanjamesmiller.com. And I'd be more than happy to share with you more about that. We're also going to be sharing more in our private Facebook community. Some of you were watching that live, others not a part of that. We're going to be sharing more how you can get engaged into that community more deeply and start to gain access to more of these tools. But I want to walk through very simply for you something that you can use to help better identify your strengths and weaknesses. Oh, before I go there, before I give you my tool, I'm going to say one of the best simple tools available to you is the Strengths Finder assessment. I think that it's about $40, and it's done by Gallup, and you answer a series of questions, and it helps to identify. So they have identified 34 different characteristics of an individual, and they rank those based upon how you answer the questions and then how their algorithm works. And it comes up with an order of your strengths. They highlight your top 5 strengths, then they highlight your top 15 strengths, and then ultimately they give you all 34. And they give you a lot of instruction on each of those things, how to understand them, what to do with them. So I highly, highly recommend the Strengths Finder. It is just a great tool. I use that with a lot of my clients. We're actually working with an organization right now where we've taken 16 of their team members through a Strengths Finder assessment. I'm doing the evaluation, and we're creating both team and individual development strategies off of that. But that's a great resource and a great tool. So that is one tool that's out there and available as an analysis that you can do. And I don't think it's that expensive. I think it's totally worthwhile for people to do. I've done it. My wife do it. One of my kids did it. I should have both of my kids do it. Anyway, so it's just super cool to see how that all works and see where your strengths and weaknesses lie. Okay, beyond that, one more tool for you, something practical for you. So you're gonna have to write this down if you want to. As you're watching this, you can go back and listen to this again. But I want to go through a simple SWOT analysis, not SWAT like, but SWOT, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this can be applied to businesses. I do SWOT analysis a lot when I work with organizations, but this also can be done for an individual. As a matter of fact, for me personally, I did a SWOT analysis on myself recently with the help of some other people to help me better identify how I could enter into a market and launch a specific product service offer that we had. And so SWOT analysis is, I think it's SWOT analysis is, I don't know. Anyway, whatever that is, it's a great tool. So here's a simple breakdown of that. So first up is strengths. So these are qualities that give you an advantage over other people. Now, there is nothing in this world that somebody else probably doesn't have that you have in terms of strengths. Though we are all uniquely created by God, uniquely wired by God, and there's no two people alike, more often than not, there are other people that are going to mirror our strengths. But oftentimes it's a combination of those strengths that truly gives us the strength. But I would say that what are qualities that give you advantage over other people? You can apply this to your dating life. What makes you stand out from your competition so you can go out there and win the one that you want to attract to you. This definitely works in business. This works in sales. This works in so many different areas. So what are the qualities that give you an advantage over others? And some examples, very simply, you can talk about, again, I highlighted some of these earlier. Maybe you're great at leadership. You're great at communication. Maybe you have resiliency. Maybe you have creativity. So there's a lot of different things that you may be able to identify. So 3 questions that you can ask yourself as it relates to strengths. And I'm working through this fast because we're getting close on time here. Again, we do this in a lot more depth in our coaching community and then in our coaching programs, but I want to offer this as best as I can. Anyway, so questions around strengths. What do I excel at? What unique resources do I have access to? And what do others see as my strengths? So those 3 questions will help you kind of cap off the strengths. Weaknesses. What traits or areas do I possess that pose a challenge or a disadvantage to me in whatever effort I'm trying to make? So examples of this could be time management, productivity, fear of failure. These could inhibit your ability to put yourself out there and be successful. Patience. So these are all things that you could struggle with that could hinder your ability to succeed. Again, just achieve the purpose that you set out to achieve. So here's 3 questions to consider as it relates to your weaknesses. Number 1, what types of tasks do you usually avoid or not want to have anything to do with? Number 2, what are the negative habits that you're often told you do on a regular basis? And 3, what personal traits do you believe have been limiting your growth, or maybe others have told you are limiting your growth? So those are 3 questions you can ask yourself as it relates to weaknesses. All right, opportunities. Opportunities are external factors or situations that can be exploited to your advantage. Now, some people hear the word exploit and they think, oh my gosh, that's a bad word. I don't want to take advantage or manipulate people. That's not what that means. That means you may have some kind of access to some type of resource, some situation that you can set yourself up for or put yourself in the middle of that could create a significant opportunity for you. Maybe because it's a community that you're a part of. Maybe because it's a certain relationship that you have. So I would just say, like, what are the things that you could take advantage of that are right in front of you that will help you to achieve the success that you desire? Questions, 3 questions there that I think would be helpful for you to answer. Number 1, what trends do you currently see in your industry or marketplace that you can take advantage of? Number 2, how can your strengths open new doors for you to people, places, or things? 3, are there any upcoming changes in your personal life or your professional life that could be beneficial to you? Again, 3 questions to help you answer the question, what opportunities are out there for you? And finally, threats. Threats are external circumstances, situations, and elements out in the world that could cause you trouble, that could pose a problem in your pursuit of success. These can be things like competition in the workplace. Maybe somebody's come in that's demonstrated better skills than you, or maybe it's a competitor out in the marketplace that you used to dominate your market and now they're starting to gain a lot of traction. Maybe it's changes in personal circumstances. Maybe your life's about to change. Maybe you're about to step into a new season or phase of life, and that could pose a potential threat to the pursuit of your success. I'm not saying you abandon that, but that is a very real threat to you if you have had your eye on a prize for a period of time. So 3 questions that you can ask that will help you to identify threats. Number 1, what obstacles do you currently face? What are the challenges that you're currently facing that may pose a threat to you? Number 2, are any of your weaknesses leading to threats? There's a difference, right? Weaknesses can be shored up, but if we do not identify them for a period of time or absolutely just ignore them, they can end up being serious threats to our success. And number 3, are there any changes in your professional or personal environment that may pose a challenge to you? Again, 3 simple questions to help you identify threats. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Great simple exercise that you can go through. It can really help you to harness strengths and embrace weaknesses, ultimately to continue on this transformational journey that you're on and hopefully achieve the success that you desire. So I'm going to encourage you as I land the plane to take action with doing a SWOT analysis of yourself. Buddy up. Hop into our private Facebook community. Ask the question, does anybody else want to hop on a call and do a SWOT analysis with me? That could be a great way to build a relationship, to understand a little bit better about who you are, as well as learn a little bit more about somebody else in the community. Find a mentor, find a coach. There are a lot of people out there that can do it for you. From there, you can begin to develop your strategies around capitalizing on your strengths, embracing your weaknesses, identifying opportunities and threats in the marketplace or on your journey. Super duper helpful for you to be able to do that. Okay, all that said, that was an action-packed, power-packed 22 minutes. I love being able to do this, but I just want you to know that there is far more than these 15, 20, 25-minute Facebook lives or replays of our lives that are available to you. So if you are watching this live or recorded and you're like, I need more, I want more than this, I want to grow more, I want to develop more of myself, I want to encourage you to reach out to us. You can DM me on social media, any one of the platforms you see this on or are following me on. You can email me directly, ryan@ryanjamesmiller.com. You can text me, 714-202-9402, and I will be happy to respond in any one of those ways. And we have plenty of tools available. My book is a fantastic resource. It's right there. I usually am a lot quicker to get that. We have a field manual that has a lot of our guides that we've developed, built up into one amazing resource. These are all low-cost opportunities. We have a mini course that we're offering now for $97. You can learn more about inside the private community, or you can go to woundsbook.com. You can learn more there as well. There are resources available to you. This is a great place to start, but there is far more available on your journey to transformational greatness. With that being said, I just want to let you know that one of the other things that I get a lot, and we talked about this weeks and weeks ago, but something that I want to expand on is this idea of overcoming challenges and identifying and dealing with the emotional triggers that I deal with on a regular basis. Our mind and our heart are powerful things. And oftentimes they get in the way on this journey that we are on. And so how do we work through those? How do we deal with those? That's what we're going to be talking about next week. Make sure that you tune in for that. If you're not part of our private Facebook community, go search Unlocking Greatness on Facebook. Email me. Be more than happy to engage with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. To your greatness, to your success. I appreciate you. Get out there and get after it.